Is he dead?
Yeah, he's dead. Him and Georgie both.
It's the best news I've heard in ages. Can we get an amen, Padre?
So what happens now?
What do you mean what happens now? It's over, done, finished.
I ain't talking to you. Just cause Sal Marcano's dead, Lincoln, doesn't mean it's over. Now, what you did and the size of it all, you created a storm in this here city, and it's gonna take a long time for it to dissipate, if it ever does.
With Marcano dead, New Bordeaux belongs to me. Ain't nobody left to stand in my way.
You can't be serious. The point of this wasn't to replace Marcano, it was to remove him. This city's done gone through enough. It doesn't need another Sal Marcano.
This city? You've got to be fucking kidding me. This city is a cesspool. It's where people come to fuck and drink and get high.
You watch your filthy mouth.
It's what the city is, Padre. If it's not giving another Sal Marcano, it's gonna shit one out.
He's right. If it ain't gonna be me, it's gonna be somebody else. Probably somebody worse.
Amen.
Hank. You remember what you told me when you came back from the war? How you wanted to go to California, leave all this behind, and just start all over?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it ain't too late, Lincoln. You can still go. Go. And don't look back.
Listen, I'd love to stay here and debate the merits of one crime boss over another, but I've got a schedule to keep. Bit of advice, though. The scumbags you've been working with, kill them. All of them. Bury them before they bury you, buddy. I'll be seeing you, Padre.
When I saw it was a time for a change. Killed the Tsar and its ministers.
God forgive me for standing by you through all this, Lincoln. But if you do anything except leave, we're finished. You hear? A man's soul can only carry so much. And mine is on the verge of breaking.
I was puzzling you with the nature of my game. Oh, yeah. I watch you bleed while your kings and queens fought for 10 decades. For the God saving, I shouted out.
After Lincoln Clay vanished, Thomas Burke assumed control of the city. According to his daughter, Burke's liver was riddled with cancer. He should have lived maybe, another 6 months. But that selfish bastard used the money Lincoln left him to go to Mexico and get a black market transplant. And then he hung around for another 16 years. Now, he flooded the city with booze, then expanded into drugs, first heroin, then cocaine. He used the same infrastructure he'd set up for moonshining, and within a year or so, most of the cocaine entering the country came through here. Anyway, Burke was one of the wealthiest men in the southern United States. Hell, he bought himself a seat on the city council and got the township's name legally changed to Bourbon City. But all that cocaine attracted other criminals, and Burke went to war with the Cuban gang. Shootouts in the streets, car bombs, a brothel burned to the ground. When the Cubans called him out, Burke came, armed with an M60 and grenades. He killed 8 men before they put him down, and that was 1984. And since then, no one has sat on the throne for more than a few months. The city is still a lawless fool's paradise. After Salmarcano's death, Lincoln Clay disappeared. The Bureau deprioritized the investigation after a few months, but I keep an active file. In 1971, I tracked him to a California shipyard where he was working under an assumed name. By the time we got there, though, he was gone. The trail went cold, and by 77, 78, I figured he was dead. But then I got a report of someone matching his description working with the Colombians. Since then, there's a new sighting of him every couple of years.
Lincoln made it out to California. Worked at the shipyards for a few years. Met him a woman. Seemed like he was gonna get married, but then it all came apart. Don't know why. And he started moving around. He went to Alaska, New York, South America. He even went back to Vietnam. I still get postcards from time to time. You know, I think Lincoln wasn't able to accept the world for what it is, or his place in it.
Someday, he's going to get tired of running, or make a mistake, and I'll be waiting. I promise you that. After Lincoln vanished, Cassandra took control of the city's underworld. There wasn't a crime boss from Boston to Miami who respected her claim, though, so Commission, the Colombians, the Cubans, they all went after her. They realized too late they had no idea who they were fighting. Johnny Galante, throat slit, watching Deep Throat in a porn theater. And Manny Moreno, set on fire outside his daughter's quinceañera. Severo Garcia, buried alive on the beach, drowned when the tide came in. Anton Bagrov, beaten to death with crowbars in the parking lot of the Briar Patch. And then the real criminals came for her. The governor declared martial law, sent in the National Guard. So Cassandra shot him in the head on the steps of the Capitol building. After that, everyone got the message. The city belonged to Cassandra. But the government is like a rogue elephant. It's murderous and patient and never forgets. So the state pulled funding for the schools, city maintenance, you name it. If they couldn't get Cassandra, they'd strangle the city until it gave her up. Hurricane Cassandra, the locals called it. I don't think anyone expected the damage to be so severe, that the levees would completely fail, that the flooding would wipe out half the city and force the other half to leave, that the city would turn into the ghost town it is today. I mean, it's hard to believe, really. A major American city, I mean, left to rot like that. Some say Cassandra was one of the thousands who drowned in the flood. Others say she slipped away to the swamps and still rules what's left of the city's underworld from the bayou. Either way, she's a ghost. She hasn't been seen in years. After Sal Marcano's death, Lincoln Clay disappeared. The Bureau deprioritized the investigation after a few months, but I keep an active file. After Lincoln vanished, Vito Scaletta took over the city. I spit on Sal Marcano's grave one last time by actually doing what Marcano couldn't, finishing the casino. Now, 2 years later, Scaletta opened another casino, and then it was just an avalanche of development. Hotels, arenas, the new convention center. I mean, today, everyone knows this place as the Las Vegas of the South, but the whole damn thing was built on bodies Lincoln Clay left behind with blood money he and his lieutenants stole from the mob. And Vito? He still lives in that penthouse at the top of Marcano's casino, looking out over the city he owns. After Sal Marcano's death, Lincoln Clay disappeared. The Bureau deprioritized the investigation after a few months, but I keep an active file.
All units, search is called off. Repeat, abandoned search. Return to patrol.
Sal and Georgie are gone. And after all the shit we've been through, we run this city.
So we finally gonna get our chance to make things right in this town. Bring a balance to things. Wasn't certain we'd ever actually get here.
No, that's the kind of news you never get tired of hearing.
It ain't personal. What in the fuck?
You want to know what happened to Lincoln? After he killed those people he worked with, I realized that he was no different from Sal Marcano. So I put a bomb under his car.
And I'll make you feel like you are
The things he did, that what he turned into.
Yeah, I'll give you nearly everything that a woman
I couldn't.
can. Honey, you know I did.
I did some things in my life,
When I think I've had enough,
things that I regret.
when I'm gonna show you, baby.
But killing Lincoln Clay isn't one of them.
I want you to
He carved his path out all on his own.
come on and take it.
After everything he did, all the people he killed? No. The car bomb was too quick, too clean. Look, sometimes I wonder, when that priest, Father James Ballard, he identified the body.
Makes you feel good. Oh, yes, indeed.
You know, some nights when I'm down here,
On the streets, looking
going over it all again,
baby, deep down in your heart, I guess you know that it ain't right. Never, 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 never hear me when I cry.
I swear I hear footsteps upstairs.
Each time I tell myself that I
It
wanna
sounds like
fix that
combat
way.
boots.
But when you hold me in
No,
your arms,
I know it's just this old house creaking and moaning. Well, when it happens, I can't help but wonder if it's Lincoln Clay coming to take what's left of my life.
Sal and Georgie are gone. And after all the shit we've been through, we run this city.
Now, that's the kind of news you never get tired of hearing.
So we finally gonna get our chance to make things right in this town. Bring a balance to things. Wasn't certain we'd ever actually get here.
We're not here because of what I did, or because of what any of y'all did. We're here because we stood together. And as long as we stay strong, ain't no one ever gonna fuck with us.
After he killed Sal Marcano, Lincoln Clay took over. But he wasn't content just to run the city. He expanded out across the South into Florida and even the Carolinas. There's so much money coming in, and he's been smart with it. He spreads it around, makes sure the right people get paid and stay paid. The city's favorite son, Yeah. Rebuilding the Hollow, buying up Frisco Field, reopening the theme park, all that money and goodwill. He thinks it's made him untouchable, but no one is untouchable. He might have plastered his name across a few schools and hospitals, made donations to a charity here and there, but nothing absolves him of his crimes. That's why I agreed to do this documentary. I want to shine a light on the real Lincoln Clay.
Lincoln gave in to everything. Drugs, booze, prostitutes, you name it. If he made $1, he was involved. Seeing him on the news, strutting around. Sometimes I think he should have died over at Sammy's with all the rest of them. There'd be kind of a peace in that. Turn it off! Ain't nothing else to say about any of this.
Let me ask you something. Senator! Where were you when John Fitzgerald Kennedy was assassinated?
I don't remember. At home, I believe.
I don't remember. At home, I believe. Let me tell you where I was. A muddy hut in Vietnam. Slowly dismembering an old woman, cutting her apart bit by bit. And do you know why? Because her son was an NVA officer. And hurting her was the only way to make him talk.
I don't understand what this has to do
What he
with
told us saved the lives of an entire platoon. That's 42 men. Men that lived another day because I was willing to take a saw to that old woman.
Thank you, Mr. Donovan. I believe that.
Sit down and just shut the fuck up! I did a lot of terrible shit over there. In the name of this country. Shit that will haunt me for the rest of my life. But I did it because I believed in the fight. I believed what this nation stood for. So, to be sitting there ass deep in mud with that old woman scattered all around me, and hearing that the President of the United States had just been fucking murdered, well, I knew right then and there that I couldn't let that stand. That I would find a way to make it right no matter how long it took.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that Sal Marcano and a group of conspirators murdered Jack Kennedy.
Oh, that is the most absurd thing I have ever heard.
I assumed you would say that. Don't fucking move!
This... You're out of your mind.
Oh, I don't hold anyone's ambitions against them, Senator. And you certainly were ambitious, weren't you? You went to law school, and then you became a district attorney, and then United States Senate. After Sal Marcano died, I went through his files. Imagine my surprise when I saw your name over and over and over and over again. The mob wanted Jack Kennedy dead, and you were more than willing to help.
There are cameras everywhere. There's witnesses.
No, I want
You'll
them
never
to
get
see
away
this,
with
you
this.
stupid asshole, because then they will know that I am not finishing with you. I am starting with you. Oh! Oh! And they're next. Gentlemen?
God! Some folks in here, stop,